Every day, I wake up to a feast. Where I can sink my teeth into history. Or shock my taste buds with something new. It's here I learned the color of sweetness, expanded my pantry, and my appetite. Every next bite only leaves you hungry for more.
Today, I woke up below the surface, where I learned to face my fears and go with the flow. But it's when I came to appreciate the big and the small, made new friends from all over, and could no longer hide my true colors, that I knew I'd emerged a local.
Makalibay, no?
I woke up to worlds unknown. Where water is stronger than rock. So I learned to sit back and enjoy the ride. Get washed up on a deserted island. Explore the locals' living history. Perhaps even find a hole in the wall. Or discover a whole new world to be on top of.
Before we start the program, let us have the invocation to be led by TCP Executive Vice President Attorney Lucas M. Nunag, to be followed by the Philippine National Anthem.
God Almighty, we bow our heads as we invite you to bless our gathering with your peace and your presence. We pray that you guide our thoughts, our words, and our discussions today as we search for ways to meet the formidable challenges we continue to face. In a special way, we ask you to inspire our speakers with your ideas and direction. Acknowledging your infinite wisdom and compassion, we entrust to you our industry, its recovery, and especially the welfare of our stakeholders and employees. Thank you for sustaining us in every way during these difficult times. We submit to you all our issues, concerns, and worries. And as our caring Father, fill us with your joy, strength, and confidence. Help us, Lord, to bring your message of hope and healing to the rest of the tourism community. All of this we ask in the mighty name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Alam ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyag ka ng magiting. Sa manlulupin, di ka pasisingil. Sa
Good afternoon and welcome to the virtual Visayas Regional Consultative Meeting of the Tourism Congress of the Philippines. Visayas Tourism is back and ready. Let us welcome our host for this afternoon's meeting, TCP Treasurer Ms. Marisa D. Naliana.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Visayas. Industry stakeholders, friends, and colleagues from the tourism industry, welcome to the Tourism Congress Visayas Regional Consultative Meeting Virtual Edition. This is organized by the Tourism Congress of the Philippines in partnership with the Philippine Tourism Promotions Board, TPB. Thank you very much, TPB. Now, to give the welcome remarks and deliver the President's report, let us all welcome the President of the Tourism Congress of the Philippines, Mr. Jose C. Clemente III.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to greet our special guests for today, COO Attorney Tonette Aliones of the Tourism Promotions Board, our the regional directors, Director Karen Chopes of Region 8, also our RD for Region 6 is on her way to Iloilo, RD Tin, good afternoon. And of course, our very good friend, RD Shalimar Tamano from Region 7. Good afternoon to all our members, to all our friends, members of the board. And I hope everyone has had their lunch today before we began. And I'd like to first ask how everyone is doing. I hope you're all well under the circumstances. It's still a challenge for us right now in the tourism industry, but slowly and surely, we are seeing little pockets of light as we move forward in dealing with the pandemic and its effects on the tourism industry. I would like to thank everyone for being here, especially our members. As much as we would want to to have a face-to-face meeting with all of you, to see all your handsome and beautiful faces, and to interact personally. Well, circumstances are such that we have to continue with our virtual meetings for now. We are hopeful that maybe by next year we will able to resume our face-to-face meetings, and we look forward to the day when we can look at each other and say hello, how are you doing, good to see you. As mentioned, it's still a challenge, but we hope that with this afternoon's report we will be able to give a little bit of hope, a little bit of optimistic um, things for us to look forward to. So without any further ado, I would like to go into the President's report. If you have the slides, please. Okay. I will just be giving a brief update on what we have been doing since the first 2 quarters. I would like to give more time to our speakers as they have very substantive matters to discuss. And I would also like to give more time to our question and answer later on, as I know our stakeholders in the Visayas region would have a lot of questions they may need to ask. Okay. First slide, please. Okay, as of today, we have a total of 180 members. And from the Visayas region, we have 43 members, with 2 new members in 2021. We realized that it's going to be a challenge to increase membership this year due to the developments of the industry, but we are hopeful that we will continue to build up membership, and we would need help from all of you, our stakeholders in the Visayas, to encourage other stakeholders in your area to be a member of the TCP. The breakdown for the Visayas region is that we have 23 members from the accommodation sector, 12 members from travel and tours, 4 from transport, air, land, and sea, um, CO1, others 1, and tourism estates 0. So um, please, if you know friends who might be interested to join us, we would be more than happy to have them as members of the TCP. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay. Some of the reasons, no, this is in our website, and part of the reason to join the TCP, no, we came up with 10 reasons to join. One is support, no, receive immediate attention to your issues and concerns either by the TCP Board of Trustees, through consultative meetings like this, and we can have your concerns raised to the appropriate government agencies through TCP. We also provide networking, which will secure the opportunity for you to work together or to meet new members of other sectors that might be of assistance to whatever your needs are. We also build a community where we can obtain easy and prompt access to recent updates, issues, concerns, and proposed action plans through the TCP Facebook page and now our website and online group chats. You will also be afforded a visibility, no, to stand out and get noticed through our marketing opportunities and inclusion in the official TCP website and Facebook pages. Credibility, the TCP has proven its worth, its value to the tourism stakeholders, and being a part of the TCP also increases the profile of your company, knowing that you are an active part of the industry. Uh, we also promise you access and gain valuable information through our TCP database, our circulars, position papers, and similar reference documents. A voice, you're given a say in what happens in the community, because our mandate as the Tourism Congress, of course, is to be the consultative body of the national government in the formulation of the national tourism policy. So we are constantly being asked for our needs, our opinions, our sentiments on certain issues when policies and legislation is being conceptualized. Participation, be invited to our one-of-a-kind events built around learning and engagement. We will be having some webinars very shortly in the next few weeks. And this is something that we would like to have our members take advantage of for more learnings and more information. Growth, we also have programs planned for personality and professional growth as you participate in TCP assemblies and sessions. And learning, experience customized members only learning by participating in online and person-to-person TCP seminars and workshops. So there's a lot of things that you can benefit from being a member of the TCP. So we hope you take advantage of these features that we have. Next slide, please. Okay, these are just some testimonial ads from people. The person on the left is someone very familiar to, particularly to our friends in Cebu and Bohol, is Miss Marjet, and Mr. Harry Morris from Davao, who are asking you to join. So their testimonies will prove that the TCP works for its mandate. Next slide, please. Okay, just to go into some of the activities, I won't go through each and every one of them, but maybe to the more important things that we have been attending to. Okay. One of the main events that we attended was a DOT Middle East Market and Business Recovery Symposium series. This was done last January. This was very important because the Middle East was a market that was growing before the pandemic, and it's something that we keep on looking at. And the good news is that the interest is still there as soon as we are able to reopen our borders for international travel. Okay, we have also worked with the TPB for the Tourism and Technology Forum, wherein it was discussed how technology and the tourism industry can work, especially during this time, wherein we have to be very innovative in the way that we operate, the way we deal with tourism, the way we are going to do tourism, not only for the present, but also moving forward. It will be a very changed world, a very changed tourism landscape when things get back to normal. So uh, this was a very important session. Next slide, please. We also worked with PATA on uh, why tourism needs, why does need an educational webinar, and then one of the more important things also is with regard to the employment recovery strategy, which we have been working with the DOT and DOLE, considering that a lot of our stakeholders have also downsized, which has caused somewhat of a crisis in the uh, employment status in the industry. As of late last year, around 5.5 million workers in the tourism industry and its affiliated industries have been already affected by the pandemic. Okay. We are also being constantly invited to consultation meetings for updated guidelines, especially on the different sectors. There was one for the accommodation sectors, which was done last March, and the sector for accommodation has been represented very well by our board members in those sectors. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, one of the things that we have also been highlighting is our constant meeting with the small business corporation, um, with regard to the Cares for Travel program. We'll have a discussion on that a little bit later on the updates, and there might be some developments which everyone would be interested in. Okay. Okay. Meeting. For our friends in Region 6, Boracay has been a one of the main focal points also of what we have been discussing about, and I will give some updates for those later as well. Next slide, please. Okay. Last May, we had a discussion with regard to the reformulation of the National Tourism Development Plan for 2021 and 2022. And there was also a review of the TRRP, or the Tourism Recovery Plan. And we will be sharing information about that in circulars, and give you an idea more of what the DOT, the national government, and the recommendations that we had as far as the recovery plan is concerned. Okay. Next, please. Okay, last week we also had a meeting with Meralco, as they have some tourism related initiatives that they would want to share with our members. No, it was made clear that even though it is a Meralco initiative, this is something that their initiatives can be applied to other regions, not just in the immediate coverage area of Meralco. So we are still in discussions with them, and in fact, we are coming out with a survey to our members to find out more information as to how we will approach this. But this is a very welcome development, as we didn't really know that Meralco had a division that handles tourism. So we have possible partnerships that we can do with them. Also had a meeting with the Cavite Travel Tours Association and the Quezon City Travel Agencies Association, basically giving updates on what to expect in the coming months, and just how are we looking at the recovery. And finally, we also had a meeting with the ADB, with regard to some programs, educational programs that they have, and they have asked to partner with the Tourism Congress of the Philippines because this will also involve some sort of funding. So we will give you more updates on that as well as more developments uh, happen. But it's an exciting project, the one with the ADB, and I'm sure a lot of our stakeholders would be interested to know more about that. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, with regard to updates, no, naman, mentioned that the Small Business Corporation has recently loosened up some of the requirements they have for the tourism industry, specifically for the Cash for Travel program, uh, which was included in the Bayanihan 2. As of that time, we were allocated 6 billion pesos as a form of assistance to the tourism industry in the form of no collateral, no interest loans. Um, some of the new features that were given to us was the fact that the grace period is now extended to 2 years. Whereas before a maximum of 1 year was given, we can now extend. They can now extend to 2 years, depending, of course, on the size of your tourism enterprise. But the bottom line is that we now have a longer grace period as far as repaying the loans that we have. Um, as far as the requirements are concerned, the loanable amount, whereas before they were looking at the basis for the loanable amount would be your assets and revenues, 15% of total assets or 15% of revenues, whichever is lower. They have revised that to be 15% of total assets, 20% of total revenues, or whichever is higher. So you now have a chance to have a larger loanable amount depending on the financial statements that you submit. As it was in the first phase of Cares for Travel, they can accept your financial statements from 2018 and 2019. So um, I'm sure most of us would have those documents well in hand. Okay. For those who have already been able to avail of the first tranche of the loans, the Small Business Corporation has also opened up again. No? You can now apply for a second loan if you feel the need to, and uh, they have realized that our starting point for tourism is sort of being pushed back and pushed back because of developments through no control of our own. So they have been more lenient with regard to releasing those funds. As of now, out of the 6 billion, only about close to 200 million has been loaned out, and as we can see, there's still a tremendous amount that is still available to avail of. And I encourage our members to apply for that because there are stocks. Maybe a portion of that money might be a portion of those funds might be allocated to other alleviation programs if left unused. So let us take advantage of that. Okay. Vaccination updates. Maybe this will also be part of COO Tonet's report later, but as we have seen, the DOT is really ramping up the vaccination for tourism frontliners. We all know that the tourism frontliners authorization was raised to A4. That makes us early beneficiaries of the vaccination doses that will be coming. What, for example, yesterday in Boracay, another 3,000 doses were given to tourism frontliners, and I was just informed that perhaps another 2,000 will be given again to Boracay. The idea being that if we can vaccinate most of the tourism frontliners and a good number of the population in our various destinations, Cebu, Bohol, Boracay, Palawan, um, it might be easier for us to allow fully vaccinated tourists to eventually come in all over the world, not just domestic but global tourists as well. So that is something that I know the DOT has really been angling for, and we're crossing our fingers that the deliveries of the vaccine um, ramp up in the next few months as well. Very vital in our recovery. Okay. Well, in the last few days, we've seen articles about the test-free interzonal travel, no, which caused a lot of confusion lately, and maybe our regional directors can also give us some updates with regard to that, and maybe CEO Tonet would also give us updates on that. As of the latest report, I think this has been taken off the table for now, and IATF will be going back to the requirement of having RT-PCR tests before entry into specific destinations. We will keep updating our stakeholders, our members with regard to this matter because it is also of interest now. I know that we are impatient to make traveling easier for our domestic travelers. Uh, and it's a very delicate line we have to walk between health and economics. So this will be done in a gradual method, in a gradual way. Uh, but we will continue also to keep consulting our stakeholders on the sentiment so that we can also contribute and feed that back to the IATF through the DOT. The green lanes, that part of the discussion, I hinted about it a little bit later, is that if we can get a lot of our destinations vaccinated, or at least our tourism frontliners, we can start to open up lanes between destinations and possible international markets that would be considered low risk. And gradually we can start doing international travel again. But I will emphasize in a very gradual, measured manner, and in observance and in strict observance of health and safety protocols. So that's something that we are also looking forward. On my personal sentiment, no, and I'd like to share this with everyone. Maybe if our vaccine rollout continues and it gets faster, we might even be looking at some sort of resumption uh, towards the end of the third quarter or early fourth quarter as far as vaccinated international tourists are concerned. So let's continue to cross our fingers. Let's continue to pray for that, and let's all continue to cooperate and be part of the solution, and that we also help in the implementation of the health and safety protocols. Okay, next, please. We have just relaunched the new TCP website at www.tourismcongressofthephilippines.org. Some of the features of this website are we will be posting resolutions of the IATF, circulars of the DOT, of the TPB, and the other tourism-related organization have easy reference. I know a lot of us would like to have a database that we can refer to as far as all of these resolutions and new rules are concerned. So there will be a place where people can look at that. We will also be introducing a marketplace within that website wherein our members can work with our other members for needs that you might have with a specific sector. So we are also trying to make our website something of a place where we can take advantage the services offer or what we can offer to one another. Okay. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, this is the cover page of our website. So it's a very simple site, and we are designing it in a way which is very navigable for all of us. I'm not really a techie, and sometimes I have for clicking so many things. So we'll try to make, or we'll do our best to make it as accessible to everyone. So as I mentioned earlier, we have our TCP updates, we have our government matters where we will be posting all our circulars, and we'll also have a section where if you want to be a member, it will tell you how we can be a member. And the marketplace is also in one of the tabs that we will be introducing there. Okay. Um, okay, I think this is the last slide for the presentation. Just before I end and we begin with the presentations of our COO Tanet and our regional director, I would just like to ask request our members if we can have a moment of silence, maybe around 10 seconds, for our the recently departed president of the Hotel Sales and Marketing Association, President Ms. Christine Ibarreta, who was also a former board member of the Tourism Congress of the Philippines. She sadly passed away early this week, and she was very valuable to the TCP. Her contributions have been invaluable, not only to the TCP, but to the industry as a whole. If I may ask for just a moment for a quick prayer for the repose of her soul, and would appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, that concludes my presentation. Thank you very much. Please hold on our question and answer portion at the end of the presentations of our esteemed guests this afternoon, and we would be more than happy and willing to any questions that you may have or listen to any suggestions or sentiments that you may wish to express later on. So thank you very much, and Maria.
Thank you very much, President Jojo. Thank you for sharing with the group the role of Tourism Congress in the tourism industry, as well as the services offered to our members, especially the website and the benefit that our website will bring to all our members. Now, information shared on tourism recovery plan and initiatives, which were mentioned in your industry report, together with the participation of TCP in various industry fora and meets. The SBC loan extension to members was also mentioned. Now, undertakings with national agencies, the DOT, the Tourism Promotions Board, DOLE, PATA, and various tourism sectors and other associations as well. These are all mentioned in the President's report of the Tourism Congress of the Philippines. Now, I hope all of these will prove useful to our members, especially those present here. And if you need copy of the report, we would be more than willing to share information with you. Just contact our secretariat. Now, I also know that our friends present from the audience, have questions for President Jojo. Please keep them for now, and we can take them up later on. Or if ever you have them ready, just put them on our chat box, print them in the chat group, and then we will attend to them and ask the speakers on your question. No? Now, we have reserved the last part of this afternoon's program for a question and answer. All questions regarding the presentations of President Jojo and the rest of the speakers will be tackled there. Now, aside from that, in that open forum later on, we encourage everybody, we encourage everyone to take advantage of this afternoon. Ask your questions, feel free to share anything, your views, your recommendations, talk about your concerns, and we would be glad to hear your ideas. we encourage, as I've said, to take advantage of this opportunity. Listen to our speakers, engage them in a conversation later, speak your mind and ask questions. Don't be afraid. The people we have here this afternoon, our speakers, COO, and the rest of the officials of the TCP would be more than willing to answer and give you what they can to provide you the response that you need from us. Together with us are the regional directors, and I'm sure they're very much willing to share whatever ideas they have, especially the updates and their achievements in their respective regions. Now, the more questions, the merrier, di ba? And the harder they are, the more interesting our interaction will be. Again, we thank TPB also for supporting us in mounting this event. Now, we proceed to our next speaker. This next speaker, we only sent her an invitation to deliver a message. And luckily, she said yes. But instead of just delivering a message, we got a better deal. Aside from saying a piece of her mind, a message later on, she has prepared a presentation for us. She prepared the plans and directions of the Philippine Tourism Promotions Board, COVID-19 and beyond for everybody. So I think this is going to be an interesting presentation. And again, if you have questions, reserve them for later on. Our speaker would be more than willing to take that on. Now, our speaker is an educator. She's an OD. What is an OD? An organization development practitioner, leadership coach and lawyer. She's with extensive professional experience in public sector strategic reform management. She holds a master in public management from the joint program of the Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy, National University of Singapore, and the Kennedy School of Government, Harvard University. She also completed her Master in National Security Administration at the National Defense College of the Philippines and earned her Bachelor of Arts in Political Science and Bachelor of Laws at the University of the Philippines. She has served as an Assistant Secretary for Personnel at the Department of National Defense and also the Assistant Secretary at the Department of Labor and Employment. She is a member of the core faculty of the Ateneo of Government, School of Government, and serves as the subject matter expert for the Career Executive Service Board, CESB, Leadership Development Program. Now, this lady earned the distinction to be the first and only recipient of the prestigious 10 Outstanding Young Men TOYM Award for HRD in Government Service in the Philippines. And from 2007 to January 2020, she served as the Executive Director of the CESB, transforming the key programs on leadership selection, training and development for higher civil service. And since February 2020, she serves as the Chief Operating Officer of the Tourism Promotions Board. Friends, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Philippine Tourism Promotions Board Chief Operating Officer, Attorney Maria Antoinette de Lasso Leon.
Thank you very much, Miss Marie, for that sabi ko parang mas mahaba yung intro kaysa sa sasabihin ko. Maraming salamat. Magandang hapon sa lahat ng mga partners ng TPB at ng turismo, ang mga haligi ng turismo sa Tourism Congress of the Philippines. Of course, ang ating kuya, ang ating presidente, Jojo Clemente. Sir Bob Sosobrado, nakita ko nandyan. Siyempre, nandyan si Attorney Doy Nunag, no, from Bohol, si Ma'am Lourdes Sultan, and my colleagues from the DOT, RD Shah, si RD Karen, and RD Tin from regions. Okay, sinong inuna ko? Si Shah 7, si Karen 8, si Tin ay Region 6. So, kompleto kami, kompleto Cercados. Maraming salamat po. And it is truly my pleasure and honor to join you this afternoon for a quick conversation. And maganda ito kasi sabi ko, it's about time also. And thank you, Sir Jojo, for allowing us this space to actually share what we've done last year through the pandemic. Dahil siguro yun ang corona ko. Yun, ako ang pandemic queen ng TPB. Di ba, timing yung pasok ko February 10, 2020, and a month after nag-lockdown. So, sabi ko, Lord, be careful what you pray for, kasi I was praying for challenge, and I was getting bored at the CSB, and lo and behold, oh ayan ang sagot ng Panginoon. Sige, mag-pivot ka dyan sa turismo, paano kayo magpo-promote in the midst of the pandemic. But I'm happy to share with you that naabutan kami actually ng lockdown, President sa a few days sa Boracay, because for the first time, I convened the board of directors and the TPB management for a visioning exercise. Wala palang ginawang ganon in the past. So, nag-revisit kami, nag-refresh ng vision, nag-recheck ano yung mission natin, why are we doing this? It's beyond the legal mandate given by the law. And then, nag-re-strategize kami. And in fact, it was quite timely na nung nagre-re-strategize kami, bago namin ma-finalize, naku, timing nga kasi nag-lockdown na. And with the lockdown, it brings me to this favorite quote of mine by St. Thomas Aquinas. Sabi niya, the whole world is a book, and those who don't travel read only one page. Sabi ko, nako, mukhang hindi muna tayo magbabasa dahil dun sa lockdown, no? Domestically at the start, and then internationally, we were of course restricted from moving around. So sabi ko, St. Thomas, tulungan mo naman kami. We really want to be learned and read as many books as we can by discovering and rediscovering places, people, and culture, of the different destinations that we used to visit. So to me, this was one inspiration that steered me through the pandemic. And the TPB adopted 3 strategies. Sabi namin siguro, when I got to TPB, there were about 13 or 16 strategic priorities. Niloloko ko sila. Sabi ko, paano yan naging strategic at naging priority kung 18 yan or 16, ano? Kailangan pag strategic at saka priority, na hindi lalampas sa 5 daliri ng kamay. So actually, 5 daliri nga yung aming naging strategies. Unang-una, yung pag-adapt ng smart tourism. So ito yung pag-leverage natin sa digital technologies, ICT platforms, and timing, no? Kasi the pandemic actually compelled us to make this shift. The second strategy was the pursuit of partnerships as pathways. Sabi ko sa TPB, I will let you into a secret of the Career Executive Service. Ito yung aming mantra among career officers in government. Ang mantra namin, ito yung sikreto namin, ha? Sinasabi ko sa inyo ngayong hapon. Sabi namin, ito yon. When we know each other, half of the work is done. And sabi ko, the same equally applies sa tourism promotions. Sabi ko, kaya ko tinanggap tong trabaho to kasi malakas ang loob ko, hindi ko to trabaho, di ba? Hindi to trabaho ng CEO ng TPB. Ito ay trabaho ng lahat. Anybody na may malasakit, may concern, para patuloy na mamayagpag yung ating industriya dahil tayo nagko-contribute sa ekonomiya, and our contributions translate to jobs for many people, 5.7 million of them in 2019. Aba, edi siguro lahat tayo mag-aambag, di ba? So tayo ay partner. So nag-agree yung TPB board, yeah, this will be one strategy. We will strengthen partnerships. And of course, safety was top of mind as a concern among travelers and kahit tayo, stakeholders, hindi ba? So sabi natin, the only way to go back, restart tourism, is the safe way. So we will pursue Safe Bangon Turismo. And the other 2 strategies are internal to the corporation. One is the maintaining of our effective governance. And of course, yung aming commitment to do all of these things in a transparent, accountable way. So yun po yung 5 strategies. Pero yung 3 fina-flash ko kasi ay the ones that really pertain to program. For smart tourism, last year, sinuportahan natin yung Visita, yung ating ito yung mga visitor information system, information management. Nag-umpisa ang Baguio, we went to Zambales. Then, kanina yung Oriental Mindoro nag-launch. And then Region 4A ay ganun din. Ang sinusuportahan namin ang Dumaguete and Negros Occidental, Bacolod. So nag-invest din kami. Kailangan alam natin kasi kung wala tayong datos, hindi natin alam anong nangyayari sa mundo. Hindi masyadong sharp at focused yung ating mga gustong gawin. So sige, nag-i-invest tayo ngayon. Market studies and research. Kailangan talaga may data. No? At minimina natin yung data. And of course, we launched in November last year the developed Philippine Travel App. That's the official app adopted by DOT and TPB. And this year, we are enhancing it. Hopefully, yung ginagawang efforts ng TCP, like the marketplace and some other digital innovations, we can do integration so that meron ding portal, so to speak, na hindi masyadong nahihirapan yung stakeholders natin where to go for information and others. And of course, we shifted early to adapting virtual and hybrid mode of events. In the midst of the pandemic, we did the first in the country, in the whole world even, with the support of the Bohol Tourism Council, of course. We staged FITEX on a hybrid mode September of 2020. Tayo lang yung parang mga siraulong nag-risk, no? But it was a calibrated risk and it was good enough because naging magandang practice para makita ano talaga ang latag ng mga new normal protocols for travel and tourism. For partnerships and pathways, multi-directional yung tinitingnan naming mga partners. So yung interagency collaboration, I brought to the TPB, and sabi ng mga kasama ko sa TPB, CEO, nakakatuwa, lahat ng kailangan natin, isang tawag mo lang, nandyan na. So, pagdating ko ng TPB, meron silang tinatawag Magic 12. Ano yun? May 12 pala dyan na officers na for the longest time, hindi ma-attest ang appointments ng Civil Service Commission. May mga problema. So, whether it was internal to the corporation or something that impacted our programs, I immediately reached out to other national government agencies. So, maganda ngayon ang coordination ng seamless at palaging nandyan, willing sila and able to support sa mga pangangailangan natin. Partnerships, of course, lalo na relevant ito. So sabi ko, tama talaga yung naging decision natin at direction. Kasi by 2022, next year, i-implement na po ng national government yung Supreme Court ruling in the Mandanas versus Garcia case. And Mandanas and Garcia case, na the bigger share of internal revenue allocation will be allotted to local government units. And tourism development and tourism promotions are two functions that have been identified in the devolution executive order that will be decentralized. It will be devolved to local government units. Next year, more than ever, we need a stronger partnership with local government units, whether it is in the area of capacity enhancement. Nakipag-usap na po ako sa leagues of cities and the other leagues naka-schedule kami. Kasi we want to listen to them and find out ano yung kailangan nila, ano yung areas for cooperation, ano yung dimensions for partnership that they need support from sa TPB. And one of them, actually, President Joe and si Marie will be interested. Kasi swak doon sa learning and growth ninyong dimension. Capacity enhancement. Sinasabi ng mga leagues, ma'am, hindi rin kami handa. Hindi rin po kami ready in terms of capacity. So sabi ko, anong specific area of capacity do you need? So sabi, digital marketing. Naku, nasa inyo ang expertise. So pagtulong-tulungan siguro natin. And of course, kaya nasa taas po yan. Kayo yung tinitingala naming sektor na constant ang aming support and hopefully our engagement with all of you through the TCP formally. And of course, through your various other organizations, TPB will remain to be your strong partner. Speaking of partnerships, last year until now, as I speak, we've supported the Visayas region. Yung ginawa kong support, President Joe, medyo focus on Visayas para hindi na sila malito. Ito lang, for the Visayas alone, we supported Iloilo with less than 10 million na yung rebranding nila effort na Iloilo City is ready for you. And then DOT Region 7, si RD siya, malakas yan sa amin eh. Kami lang mahina sa kanya. Oo. RD siya. So yung Reinventing Central Visayas campaign ni RD siya sa Region 7, we also supported. And of course, meron pa siyang yung Islands campaign. Siguro mamaya dedetalyehin niya. Kasi Islands is actually an acronym. So i-explain yan mamaya ni RD siya. And then yung Bohol, we have supported them with 9.75 million for the DASIG na kanilang in-stage last year. And napakaganda ng result po nun. Ang Negros Oriental asked us for support to develop their visita. So it's ongoing. And the OT Region 8 also, we have supported them with 9 million funds for the rebranding and redevelopment of the products there. Ongoing yung ating province of Samar na secret kitchens. Nakikita ko yung mga post ni RD Karen tungkol dito. So sinuportahan din po ng TPB. For Bohol, again, we downloaded 10 million to support the RT-PCR costs of both their tourists and the hospitality workers there. So alam namin na ito ay required. This is a necessity to signal safe tourism. So sinuportahan po natin yan. Of course, for Boracay, maaga kaming nag-download last year. When they reopened in October, we downloaded 10 million to support the testing of our frontline tourism workers in the island. This year, we supported the Panglao Dive Festival, so congratulations, Ardisha. And we added additional support for Dumaguete City for their request also for the rebranding campaign. Ang province of Negros Occidental ay humingi din ng 4.45 million para sa kanilang, particular ito sa dive promotions. And this year, we added 8.6 million to the DOT Region 8. Siguro kita nyo naman from those 3 slides na nandyan yung commitment namin. No? So sabi nga nila, you put your money where the mouth is. So when we say we are with you, we support you, concomitant po yung financial support that with it. And beyond that, yung technical assistance and syempre yung moral support na rin nandyan. For Safe Bangon Turismo, I checked with TPB, sabi ko, meron na ba tayong na-formulate na strategic marketing program? Kasi kailangan natin ito to guide the tourism and marketing promotions campaign post-pandemic. So wala daw. So sabi ako, optimistic ako palagi. Okay, sabi ko, that's a blessing. So ibig sabihin, tabula rasa, gagawa tayo ngayon. You formulate the strategic marketing program. And thank you, TCP President Jojo. In fact, the TCP was the first group that we consulted. And if our partners from the Visayas would have other ideas, ongoing yung refinement namin, please, you are most welcome to share your inputs and suggestions here. The pillars for the strategic marketing program include broadening our domestic tourism base kasi reality po na now and maybe until the first half of next year, yung mas malaki talaga pa rin yung kakainin ng domestic tourism. And then we have banner programs that we are also prioritizing for this year. In the next slide, I'll show them to you. And of course, kasama dyan yung preparations for the resumption of international travel. In fact, for preparing for resumption of international travel, we are in partnership with TIESA. We are supporting the establishment of the concierge, yung mga tourist concierge areas, parang mga lounge in the selected destinations. And we hope to expand that next year and in the years to come. And also rolling out the Wayfinder or signage project na mapaganda naman natin para hindi mukhang dugyot-dugyot yung mga signs just sa mga tourist sites na maganda. The inspiration from this came from our visits in Bohol. Sabi ko kay Governor Artiaps, Gov, yung ibang mga signs like yung ATV, no, dyan sa Bohol, Chocolate Hills, nakalagay yung karatula sa isang inumin na alcohol. Sabi ko, baka mas maganda meron tayong branding even for the tourist sites. So this year's banner programs, 3H, happy dahil yung marami tayong displaced na weaving communities and it's part of our cultural heritage. So beyond supporting them for promotions, we are actually adopting a corporate social responsibility program sa TPB para malocate yung mga na displaced, marginalized weaving communities, and we hope to be able to provide a holistic package of assistance to our weaving communities. And then there's Hilong, because wellness tourism is also a top of mind product, no, among our travelers and tourists. So we are engaging, those of you who are along this line, yung mga produkto niyo ito yung inyong pinopromote. Nako, may partnerships po tayo dito. And of course, the National Philippine Development Plan, the reformulated PDP, actually articulates halal promotion as a key flagship, no, as a key pillar of our Philippine Development Plan. So we have engaged Sina Asek Myra Abubakar of Mindanao and our Mindanao regional offices for DOT para makapaglatag tayo ng magandang programa for halal tourism. And mukhang swak ito doon sa aspiration ni President Jojo Clemente kasi yung Middle East market, medyo very particular sila dito, di ba, Jo, na gusto nila, yan, titingin nila, baka hindi tayo masyadong friendly, na yung mga restaurants and places that they visit are not halal. So this is also attuned to that, aligned doon sa aspiration natin to woo more tourists from the Middle East areas. This quarter, up to the end of the year, our marketing programs that help the Visayas region include the conduct of the regional travel fair that's going to be hybrid next month, August 5 to 8. It will be hosted by Tacloban City. And then by the start of the last quarter of this year, the phase 1 production of the 360 virtual reality experiential regional tours will be completed. So napansin nyo, nag-i-invest kami ngayon sa mga content. We want to create content para tuloy-tuloy na maging available ito sa mga interested na turista, at when it's time to be able to revisit again, alam nila, no? Medyo napasadahan na nila in a virtual reality format. And naku, natutuwa ako kasi ito yung siguro yung isang accomplishment na proud ako as COO. We managed to grow the TPB membership base. When I got to TPB last year, proud na proud dyan si Babe, yung aming domestic tourism promotions department managers. COO, we have 104 members. Sabi ko, talaga? So my first question was, what is the universe? Sabi niya, what do you mean? How many should be members? Sabi niya, about 8,000. Talaga? Sabi ko, tapos proud kayong mag-report sa akin na 104 yung members. Sabi ko, that's not the way to target. So, ayan, nag-negotiate. Naku, CEO, kasi pandemic. No. In fact, all the more that you should expand the membership kasi our members, will need us. So, President Jo, na-overtake na namin kayo sa TCP kung 105 yung members nyo. Kami 450 na. As of today, 450. So siguro pwede tayong mag-partner, Jo, na meron tayong parang automatic na pag member ng TPB, member ng TCP, parang it's, kumbaga dual citizenship sila. Diba? Dual membership program.
Pwede
Yeah.
yung,
Kami
pwede.
naman libre eh.
Yes.
Right now, libre yung membership namin
Yeah.
since last year. So, di ba?
Yeah.
Oo. Kasi kung may 450 na kami, kung hindi pa yan kasama doon sa 105 mo, you will grow also your base. No? So, I think there are many ways by which we should be able to grow this. And I think by their feedback, una, sinasabi ng mga members, na-appreciate talaga namin yung weekly members chat. So every Wednesday, 3 p.m., naging habit na siya. In fact, last week wala kami kasi in-stage namin yung 2-day webinar. Tapos nung Wednesday, naghihintay sila lahat. ba't di ba nag-owe yung, we call it now, the tambayan, Wednesday tambayan. Sabi ko, nako, mga tangi kayo, nakalimutan ninyo na, di ba, sabi natin, wala tayong Wednesday ngayon kasi nga, ni-replace ng Monday and Tuesday. So, nakakatuwa that it has become a habit for the members. And hopefully, we will grow the base with you, with TCP. And also, by the third quarter, we hope to finish yung filming and production of our videos as part of the Philippine Tourism Influencers Program. And Visayas is one of the areas that will be covered, particularly the Panay Island. No? So for this year, Panay Island. So of course, we're bringing in bloggers, influencers, mga social media personalities to be able to bring to the public these destinations. No? So that's the Influencers Program. And as we close, as I mentioned, syempre top of mind concern talaga is safety. So I think many of you have seen this video. And as I speak, the Welcome Back campaign ad is almost in its finishing stage. But I would like to end this brief update with you with a reminder to stay safe and also keep safe. All right, so that's the abridged version of the Handa video, which just summarizes the reminders for a safe and fun tourism. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, COO.
Thank you very much, COO. Sabi mo kanina, masyadong mahaba yung intro mo. Palagay ko sinadya ng mga taong nagbigay sa akin para alam nila, they know who to talk to or approach in case they have problems in all those agencies I mentioned. Diba? So at least they know who to contact. Now, from your presentation, COO, tourism programs under TPB looks very promising in the next few months, starting next few months at least. No? And they look
Salamat.
bright beyond the COVID-19. O, parang at least may hope, alam mo yon? Kasi parang we don't know kung on and off yung COVID numbers, minsan mataas, minsan mababa. So we don't know whether we're starting or we're continuing to slow down or close. So at least the programs you presented a while ago presented some kind of hope to everybody in this group. And then for the audience, for our friends in the audience, no, I'm sure you have a lot of questions for the CEO and Jojo, President Jojo. Hold on to these questions because they are more willing, very much willing to answer them later on in our open forum. Now, our next batch of presenters, they are our regional directors from Region 6, Western Visayas, Region 7, Central Visayas, and Region 8, Eastern Visayas, with Region 12, Coronadal City. They will present the directions of these regions, where they are heading, plus the programs to be done to achieve goals set for these regions. Now, after the presentations of our regional directors, we would appreciate your input and maybe comments, ideas, and suggestions that they can use. You can present them later on once again in our open forum section. Now, to present the exciting plans for Region 7, as well as the programs and directions for Central Visayas and Region 12, Coronadal City. Let us hear from Jojo. Ito yung handsome, hindi ikaw. Let us hear from Regional Director Shalimar Tamano. Ardisha, please. Ardisha, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. I thought another region was going ahead of me, but no problem.
Mayong hapon, RD.
Mayong hapon, kanatong tanan. Kadyot lang. Jojo Clemente, officers and members of the Tourism Congress of the Philippines, fellow panelists, ladies and gentlemen, fellow government officials. Mayong hapon, kanatong tanan. The COVID pandemic gave the industry an opportunity to reset, reboot, and innovate. This allowed us to revisit and recalibrate our tourism products and services, especially on adapting to the new normal. We have revisited our tourism offerings, whereby the development of a more sustainable, experiential, and inclusive tourism products and services are prioritized to ensure optimal experience. For Central Visayas, we have developed circuits that will surely pique the interest of every traveler. We made sure that these circuits give something to offer every traveler to renew their interest in visiting the region. In celebration of the 500 years of Christianity in the country, the regional office partnered with our tour operators in Cebu, the Augustinians, the Archdiocese of Cebu, in creating pilgrimage circuits in the region. Unique activities will be conducted in each church to be visited. Included in the circuit are the Marian Pilgrimage and Metro Cebu, Cultural Treasures Churches Tour, and the Jubilee Churches Pilgrimage. To diversify the products offered, we are also developing culinary tours to showcase the region's rich culinary finds. These tours feature community groups, heirloom recipes, and women's groups. The tour bundle of farm, folk, and fitness enhances the value of culinary and wellness tourism as one full experience for travelers. It allows young and fitness buffs and families to have more tour options to experience the mountain to coastal terrain destinations. Outdoor adventure tourism is one of the facets that has been gaining ground and gaining much attention among visitors and host communities in the country. To pursue the development of this sector, the regional office initiated the assembly of outdoor adventure practitioners and outdoor sports events organizers since 2018. This paved the way to a heightened enthusiasm among individuals and groups to spend more time doing the adventure, disciplines, and competitive outdoor activities they love, and a more coordinated effort among sports events organizers. In light of changing preferences of dining guests during the pandemic, the office is set to make an inventory and mapping of restaurants with provisions for outdoor dining and document its salient features and preparation for the development of alfresco dining circuits in Cebu and the rest of the region. To recalibrate the region's ecotourism products, the office plans to introduce an ecotourism pass, a green passport, a program that will highlight the features of each of the ecotourism sites in the region and entice local and domestic visitors to visit these protected areas. The regional office is conducting the first summer dive festivals. We already accomplished several legs of the dive festivals, which were held in Mualboal, Malapascua, Lapu-Lapu City, and recently in Panglao, Bohol. With these activities, we were able to engage our LGUs with their mayors, their governors, and the local dive industry. We sponsored courses on Discover Scuba Dive for adults and bubble makers for kids. We also had underwater and coastal cleanups in collaboration with the DNR and other offices like the PNP, the Philippine Coast Guard, and more. A one-stop shop was also set up with the Maritime Industry Authority, or MARINA, and the Philippine Coast Guard for accreditation and other services. More Dive 7 events in the next few months, starting with Aluginsan, Cebu this month, Dawin in Negros Oriental, and of course in Siquijor. We will also develop a circuit tour of museums in Metro Cebu that tourists can do at their own pace and time. To support the development of Bohol as a preferred wedding destination, we are conducting a farm tour for wedding organizers and planners to assess and inspect sites and attractions in the province for possible events in the future. This will also foster partnership and connectivity between the different suppliers, organizers, and industry stakeholders through workshops, meetups, and meetings to discuss the latest trends and updates influencing the wedding industry. To develop and promote motorbiking routes in the region, the regional office is currently mapping out the roads that shall take riders to scenic routes, breathtaking views, and amazing countryside finds. We work with the LTO and DNR for both on-road and off-road routes, and we have an event scheduled this August. The office is also exploring partnerships in establishing domestic travel exchanges and international travel bubbles. Since domestic tourism has already reopened, we're strengthening ties with our key domestic tourist markets through market activations and farm tours. Likewise, for international travel bubbles, the regional office is open to bringing in fully vaccinated foreign tourists through Green Lane Travel Program. Through these programs, we're hoping to restore confidence in traveling again and bring in the much needed opportunities for the industry. And finally, the regional office has assisted in the management of returning overseas Filipinos, supporting hotels which provide accommodation as temporary quarantine facilities. Since last year, some accommodation establishments have remained operational, accommodating almost 90,000 returning overseas Filipinos and counting. We currently have 48 temporary quarantine facilities or hotels with 4,000 plus rooms, 19 of which are multiple-use accommodation establishments. We have fully utilized our airport team in this operation, which includes monitoring of available rooms, coordination with DOH, DOQ for swabbing schedules, and clearance issuance. We work with the Philippine National Police, the Armed Forces of the Philippines, LGUs, DILGs, and other agencies and stakeholders. That is all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ardisha. Thank you for making time. I was informed that you're very busy and will be leaving in a while. Now, will you be coming back for the Q&A, Ardisha? Because I am sure that we have plenty of questions for.
Yeah. I'll be leaving at 3:30, but I'm willing
Okay.
to. Yeah, I'm ready to take some questions.
Are you coming back for the open forum later on? Because all questions will be focused at about 4 or 4:30. We'll have to finish all the presentations.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you have time, maybe you can come back.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the very nice presentation, RD. And to those who would like to participate or engage in the projects presented by RD Shah, maybe you can contact the OT7 and his office. And the same goes true for all regional presentations and regional directors in this afternoon's program. Now, and to present plans and programs for Region 6, Western Visayas, on behalf of OIC Director, Christine Manzanares, please welcome the Supervising Tourism Operations Officer, Ms. Phoebe Zeli Areno. Phoebe.
Thank you very much. Yes, I'd like the tech team to please show the presentation. Thank you. Sir Jay. Okay, thank you. Next slide, please. Mayroong hapon sa tanan, no? Sir Jojo Clemente, President of TCP, COO Aliones, and the officers and members of TCP, our colleagues from the regional offices, all participants are here present. Mayong hapon sa tanan. So I'll be giving you the presentation on behalf of our OIC RD, Ms. Christine Manzanares. The outline of my presentation would be a short view of comparative report of our tourist arrivals in the region and the development programs for Boracay and the rest of the region, as well as programs in support of the tourism recovery of Western Visayas. Next slide, please. So as you can see, in the screen, in the report in 2020, we recorded a total of about 1.07 visitors in the region. This is a 82% decrease from the arrivals from that of 2019, which is 5.88 million. Subsequently, the tourist receipts also took a slump from 131.42 billion to 22.93 billion, which is equivalent to 81% decrease in the tourist receipts for the region. Next slide, please. So in support of the recovery of the tourism of the region, we have domestic programs now. So firstly, I will talk about the programs, 3 programs for Boracay, which is the #1 tourist destination of our region. So for Boracay, we have the biking tour program, Boracay food crawl program, and the Boracay Wellness Workation Program. Next slide, please. The Boracay Biking Tour Program is a program that will showcase the other product offerings of Boracay Island, aside from its world-class white sand beach. It supports the government's effort to promote sustainable tourism activity while providing additional source of income for the community through a new tourism activity in the island. Presently, we are in coordination with the UNICICAD, or the United Biking Association of Boracay, for the Boracay Tour Circuit development. Okay, next slide. Next we have the Boracay Food Crawl program. This aims to introduce a new concept of dining. It supports the restaurant business in Boracay, which was gravely affected by the pandemic. This is a tour program characterized by deconstructed meal, where tourists eat one part of the complete menu in each of the participating restaurant until the tourist finishes a complete meal. It showcases both the iconic food of Boracay and the international cuisine that are available in the island. Next slide. We also have the Boracay Wellness Workation Program. The Boracay Wellness Vacation Program is where we will be offering Boracay Island as a new office space, as well as a retreat destination at the same time. It would entail longer stay of the tourists and sustainable activities in the island. It offers new vacation concept for Boracay, and it will also help increase the domestic travel to the island and to open opportunities for the businesses to recover. So currently, we have 24 hotels and resorts participating in this program. So next slide. What are the other recovery programs of the Department of Tourism? We have fun farms or the farm circuit development in Iloilo. This aims to develop a farm tourism circuit in every district in the province of Iloilo. We have a total of 35 accredited farms at the moment, and 10 of which are located in the province of Iloilo. So this is promoting a simpler yet fun experience for tourists who wish to escape the stress of traffic jams and tiring daily routine workload. Fun Farms is a project also of the DOT, in cooperation with DOT, OPMD, Office of Product Market Development of the Central Office. Next is we have the development of Western Visayas dive circuit. We want to conduct a habitat mapping of the dive sites and ecotourism sites in our area to help identify the possible dive sites of the region and develop an inter and intra-regional dive circuit. And we have also the slow food travel. It's collaboration project of ours with the Slow Food International and Slow Food Negros, which aims to improve understanding of local agrobiodiversity, heritage, and food systems, and how this capital can be linked to sustainable travel in the region. So far for this project, we have already conducted 2 capacity buildings with Slow Food International. We also had ocular inspections of the slow food communities in the region, and we have ongoing inventory and mapping region-wide, and we already have identified about 134 agrobiodiversity products in the initial mapping out of the provinces. Next slide. So next to is the development of inter-regional products for Visayas cluster. This is a program we want to develop for motorbike circuit, connecting the 3 regions of the Visayas cluster. That's Western Visayas, Central, and Eastern Visayas. We also have the farm tourism program, continuing program. This will enhance our we already have the strategic programs for programs for the farm tourism, and we want to enhance this and have the capacity building in making farm tourism experiences more resilient and to strengthen partnerships in creating new farm tourism products. Lastly, we have the Sugar Trail. This program aims to develop new tourism circuit, highlighting the sugar industry of Western Visayas, connecting the destinations in Negros Occidental and Panay which still has the strong sugar production or sugar trade, giving emphasis to the stories and livelihood of the communities derived from this industry. Next slide. We still have these programs, the online learning sessions and trainings for our tourism stakeholders. This is in cooperation with the Office of Industry Manpower Development of the central office. So last year, we conducted about 48 online courses, and we had 2,854 participants from our stakeholders. And in our social media accounts, we have 27,686 views and 79,976 reached. For this year, we already conducted, from January to June, we already conducted 11 trainings. And out of these 11 trainings, we had one face-to-face training for the community guides in Tubungan, Iloilo. Next slide. We have the COVID pandemic recovery programs as well. We support the recovery efforts through creative and innovative ways in invigorating our MICE sector. So we have consultation meetings with the MICE stakeholders in Bacolod and the MICE sometime in May, and MICE Alliance of Iloilo in June. And also we had consultation meetings last week of June for the MICE sector of Boracay, because they also wanted to create a MICE alliance for Boracay Island. We also provide support to communities and destinations to access for domestic and later on in international markets. So in this project, we conducted site assessments and of the open sites in the region, and provided support to community-based tourism organizations in the region or throughout the region. So we had it in January in Guimaras, Boracay, Iloilo and Iloilo City, Bacolod and Negros Province, as well as Capiz. So we provided PPEs and thermal scanners with alcohol dispensers to these open sites. Next, we have still in preparing for, we do preparations for tourism crisis intervention in support of the local tourism development plans of the LGUs, because the local tourism development plans have been already crafted by the LGUs, and we want to have a chapter of a tourism crisis intervention. So this July, we will be having a workshop on this to be part of the LTDP of our 6 provinces and 2 highly urbanized cities. And we still have also projects for our tourism for be connected in technology solutions. So we have ongoing collaborations with Antipara for our habitat mapping. And we have collaborations with the Retail Gate for that chatbot subscription, works of art for the development of our website and enhancement of the content. And we have also talks with Mayani, an agritech e-commerce platform, where we can, as a support for our MSMEs. And also, we still will be continuing the sustained efforts on accreditation of our tourism enterprises, highlighting the compliance with the minimum health standards, and protocols and guidelines for the new normal. So we are happy to inform you that we have one stamp more for our destination as the WTTC stamp. That's the World Travel Tourism Council stamp for safe travel. So the destination is one for Boracay, and we have 16 WTT stamp for our tourism accommodation enterprises. That's we have 11 in Boracay, 3 in Iloilo City, 1 in Guimaras, and 1 in Bacolod City. And we are also happy to inform you that under the DOT Dole Financial Assistance Program, under the Bayanihan 2, we had paid out workers of 24,613. And the paid out amount is 123,065,000. So we still have workers for disbursement, no, 24,989, and amount to be dispersed is about 124,945,000. And for our CARES for travel loan assistance program for DOT Region 6, we had 47 applications approved, and 41 of these have already been released, no, in the amount of 21,200,089 pesos. So amount to be released is 19,769,782. So that's about it for our updates on what we have been doing for Region 6. Thank you.
Thank you very much, SCOOPB. We're happy to know about your programs and plans for the region, and they look very interesting and very exciting. Now, for our audience benefit, should you wish to participate or, again, as I've said, suggest or comment on something that SCOOPB has presented, you can share them with us later on at the open forum. I'm sure SCOOPB would be glad to hear them and discuss these plans you have with you. No? Now, let us find out what awaits us in Region 8. To present what are the plans of the region, what do they have? What are the programs that they want implemented given this pandemic period? And to expound on this, please welcome the Regional Director for Eastern Visayas, Region 8, Regional Director Karina Rosa S. Lopez.
To our Tourism Congress of the Philippines President Jojo Clemente and the officers and members of the Congress, our TPB COO, Attorney Tonet Aliones, my work partners and neighbors in the Visayas, DOT OIC Tin Manzanares, now represented by Phoebe Areño, and of course, DOT 7 Regional Director Shalimar Tamano, champions of the Philippine tourism industry, maupay nga kulog haaton nga tanan. From a low-risk area at the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, Eastern Visayas had, in the past months, experienced a recurring spike of cases. Of the latest health statistics, it shows that the region has a running total of 31,658 cases with a recovery rate of 92%. This puts today's active cases at 2,021, or 6.38% of the total, and a mortality rate of 1.26%. While the entire region is under MGCQ, we collectively continue our efforts to lower our positivity rate, which recorded a high of 41% last June 20 to a low of 17% as of yesterday. Vaccination is ongoing. As of the first week of July, over 404,000 doses have already been delivered to the region, 95% of which have been distributed. Almost 225,000 people have already had their first jab, while almost 91,000 are now fully vaccinated. In 2020, Region 8's gross regional domestic product contracted by 7.6%. The services sector took a dip with its negative 9% growth compared to the high 8.9% of the previous year. The hardest hit were the accommodation and food services subsectors with a staggering negative growth rate of 70%. So, how are our tourism partners? Resilient as we are, the Eastern Visayas tourism stakeholders are coping. Sad to report, though, that only 177 accommodation facilities region-wide have reopened since the lockdowns. This represents merely 28% of our total AEs, with 28 now being used as quarantine or isolation facilities. With almost 90% of our AEs classified as micro and small enterprises, this does not really come to a surprise to all of us. Most accommodation facilities that have reopened are located in the region's tourist service centers, particularly in the cities of Tacloban, Ormoc, Catbalogan, and Borongan. To date, we have 18 tour operators and 23 tourist transport service providers who are back in business. Visitor arrival in 2020 dropped at a staggering rate of negative 82% from the 1.73 million arrivals in 2019. Tourist receipts also plummeted by 87%. This is way off our arrival and tourist receipts targets for that year. So, we are gearing up for a responsible tourism restart with the hope that the situation improves soon so that we could go back on track. Taking the decisive steps to revive the local tourism industry, the cities of Tacloban, Maasin, Catbalogan, together with the provinces of Southern Leyte, Samar, Eastern Samar, and Northern Samar, are now open to domestic tourists. Leyte Province and Baybay City only cater to locals, while Biliran Province and the cities of Borongan and Calbayog have temporarily closed their sites due to the current surge of COVID-19 cases. Except for Tacloban and Baybay cities, all our 6 provinces and 5 other cities complied with the IATF Resolution Number 101, relaxing the entry requirements and no longer required mandatory testing and quarantine. The province of Southern Leyte and the cities of Tacloban and Maasin immediately complied with the recently issued IATF Resolution Number 124-B, which allows movement of fully vaccinated individuals with less restrictions. This, however, may change with the announcement of Secretary Duque that the policy is under review after a number of LGUs aired their operational concerns. The region has 3 airports in operation. What used to be the 6th busiest airport outside of Metro Manila during the pre-pandemic period, with 19 flights a day, the DZR airport in Tacloban is now down to 44 flights a week between Tacloban and Manila and 10 flights per week to Cebu. Catarman Airport in Northern Samar and our new Calbayog Airport in Samar is down to 1 flight per week from and to Manila. With more relaxed entry protocols, passing through passengers arriving in our regional gateway only need the Tacloban City QR code, a valid ID, and will undergo a basic health assessment upon arrival. An RT-PCR test or an antigen test is only required if one is going to stay in the city. Yes, we're back and raring to welcome again our visitors to the region. We have been preparing our tourism restart as early as last year. After being closed for about a year, we made sure that our existing tourism sites are new normal ready. This means having new carrying capacities, health and safety protocols in place, and having a workforce retooled and aware of the responsibilities to help control the spread of the virus. We focused on the enhancement of our existing major tourism products and the development of new ones that respond to the current travel needs of our target markets based on the surveys done at the local and national levels. When the situation sparks visitor confidence to travel again, the Infinite Escapes in Leyte, Southern Leyte, and Biliran Tourism Development Area has in store for you island and beach getaways that will give you infinite tans, like the Kalangaman Island in Palongpon, Leyte, and the San Pedro and San Pablo Islands in Hinunangan, Southern Leyte. We will market nature adventure sites that offer infinite thrills, like the Leyte Bike Tourism Loop, and 4 soon-to-be-launched community-based tourism organization operated nature tours along the Leyte Peace Corridor. fun in the outdoors. We'll bring you to places where you can enjoy infinite dives at Sogod Bay in southern Leyte and the chance to swim alongside whale sharks or ride that surfboard atop infinite surf breaks in Dulag, Leyte and Silago, southern Leyte. We also have slow-paced, relaxing, and enriching vacation activities where you can walk along the historical grounds via the Tacloban Palo Tide Embankment area, listen to our infinite stories about the early beginnings of Eastern Visayas when you take our quincentennial tours, cruise along the San Juanico Strait, and view the San Juanico Bridge from a different vantage point. Have a taste of our heritage cuisine or experience the Eastern Visayas way of farm life. And as we celebrate the 500th year of the birth of Christianity in our country, we take you through a spiritual journey via our 7 heritage stone churches plus Limasawa Island pilgrimage tour in the south area of Leyte. Right across the San Juanico Bridge, the provinces of Samar Island Tourism Development Area presents tour circuits that offer not just unique mix of visitor experience, but ensures safe trips in Eastern Visayas. Along the Tendaya trails of Samar, you can pick your choice of nature adventure sites that offer a range of travel satisfaction from pure relaxation at the San Juan by the Bay mangrove area to a knowledge-enriching river cruise, bird watching, and even shellfish harvesting experience at the now being developed Barubaybay Mangrove Eco-Tour site, and to the extreme adventures that give high adrenaline rush when you take the Parana Samar Torpedo Boat Extreme Ride. The Samarnons will also allow you to visit their secret kitchens to taste their family heirloom recipes that have been handed down from one generation to another. The Northern Samar Tourism Circuit has rustic and idyllic islands. A visit to the historically rich Kapul will give you the chance to meet our island folks who speak a unique language called Abaknon. From the top of the Biri rock formations, you can take endless selfies and Instagrammable photos of the breathtaking views of the 7 rock islets. Or you can simply lounge by the shores of the white sand beaches in San Antonio and experience our brand new high-end Sila Island Resort located in the pink sand island of Sila in San Vicente. Along the eastern coastline of Samar Island, you can revisit our country's past in Homonhon Island, where the Philippine part of the first circumnavigation of the world began, and a U.S. naval base and airstrip, both World War II engagement sites, plus the White Russian refugee site in Tubabao Island, all in Giwan. Be among the first to visit newly developed ecotour sites offering diverse experiences like water sports activities in Makati Island, Sulat, Eastern Samar, or the Balay Uno Farm Garden in Canavid, Eastern Samar. And if you surf or has learning to surf as one of your life goals, then Calikuan Island is the place for you. The pandemic meant that the industry had to make numerous adjustments to cope with the challenges and to rebuild resilient businesses. So, aside from making our sites new normal ready, we also made sure that our workforce were provided with the right support. We revisited our list of training modules and identified those which were responsive to the times and the situation. From the traditional face-to-face trainings, we moved to using digital platforms and until recently, hybrids. From the usual training topics, we now included tutorials on new normal operational guidelines for tourism enterprises, sites, and activities. Digital marketing trainings, business continuity webinars, and emotional wellness sessions are our priority. For the development of new tour programs, particularly community-based tourism organizations, we made sure that all should undergo tourism awareness, community organizing, and values formation, and the Filipino brand of service webinar workshops before they are trained for specific industry hard skills. Despite lockdowns and travel restrictions, we continued to promote Eastern Visayas tourism, albeit in a more subtle way. Since travel trade and consumer activation events were put on hold, we optimized the use of social media by posting photos of sites, food, and other tourism products to catch the attention of locals. We knew that the first groups who would venture out of their homes to visit tourism sites, even in the midst of the pandemic, were our fellow Eastern Visayans. So we shifted our focus to the local tourist market and encouraged families and safe bubble travels. Towards the end of 2020, we started to talk about and prepare for intrazonal movements, ushering in domestic tourist markets. We also positioned the region to capitalize on its cuisine, since food seemed to be the foremost in everyone's mind during the pandemic. We showed teaser photos, and some LGUs even strengthened their culinary programs with the goal that when better days are back, food trips would be one of the drivers for increased arrivals in the region. While travel of foreign tourists is still restricted, we sustained our presence in the global dive market. Our core messages for our Responsible Tourism Restart campaign during this period are: it's still fun in the Philippines. Waray undang an adventure is, or there is no end to the adventure, and safe trips in Eastern Visayas. American lawyer, author, and healthcare advocate Elizabeth Edwards says that resilience is accepting your new reality, even if it's less good than the one you had before. You can fight it. You can do nothing but scream about what you've lost, or you can accept that and try to put together something that's good. For a region used to all sorts of challenges, a global health concern came as something new to us. But we knew that to make it through this pandemic, we had to strategize and initiate measures to help our stakeholders cope and survive. Just like other DOT regional offices, we equipped our stakeholders with new normal skills, conceptualized new tour programs, sustained online social media campaigns, and a lot more. But from among the things we did, what we consider as our best practices would be the conduct of local surveys to determine the industry situation and the need of our stakeholders, and to measure the local market's confidence to travel again, enabling us to prepare the most appropriate plans and actions. Way before the normal guidelines were officially issued, we already had our Eastern Visayas Health and Safety Manual governing the operation of tourism sites and activities in the region. Presently, we're coming up with a digital compendium of all industry-relevant issuances to facilitate ease in access and reference to these documents, which sometimes creates confusion among our stakeholders. We also acknowledge the best practices of some of our local government units, like the province of Samar, for their aggressive steps to promote the TPB-supported secret kitchens of Samar, and the cities of Baybay and Borongan for their strong political will to monitor compliance to health and safety requirements to be followed by our TEs and tourism site service providers, as well as our guests. The road we are taking is quite bumpy, with all sorts of potholes to hurdle here and there. Common issues and concerns of our stakeholders include, first, the unstable local health situation that usually results to LGUs instituting measures that disrupt the momentum of tourism restart. Second, because LGUs have their own QR codes, many of us already have separate mobile app folders in our mobile phones that contain our own personal collection of LGU QR codes. With the mobility and manpower restrictions, sustained monitoring of imposition and compliance to protocols has its difficulties. A number of times, tourists or local guests in our case have also been found to be pasaways and violate these protocols. RT-PCR tests and antigen tests, plus community quarantine, also add to the cost and inconvenience of travel. Fifth, uncertainties on when the level of visitor confidence will rise, and when tourism can really start to bounce back. Sixth, reliability of access to internet, and the level of digital skills, particularly among our stakeholders from interior localities, is among our biggest challenge. Now that the business and transactions are contact and cashless, and where meetings and trainings and events are mostly virtual or hybrid. The same goes to ease in doing online accreditation. Moving forward towards recovery, our strategic initiatives include the preparation of the Eastern Visayas Tourism Roadmap Successor Plan for 2022 to 2027, this time aligned with the Tourism Recovery and Rehabilitation Plan and the updated NTDP. Second, prepare our LGUs, tourism stakeholders, to transition to full devolution of tourism functions as a result of the Bandanas ruling, because we would want to sustain the industry development gains over the past years. So this would include the formulation of the Eastern Visayas Local Tourism Recreational Guidebook. This guidebook will contain guidelines for tourism site developers, in our case, usually LGUs, destination managers or operators, CBTOs in our case, and tourism guides, with the goal of creating a unified recreational tourism guidelines for the region in the light of the new normal health and safety requirements. Second, we will conduct awareness workshops on training needs analysis and community capacity building for tourism officers. This capacity building initiative aims to impress upon our TOs or designates the important role they play in human resource development in their respective areas. The training modules would include how to conduct and assess the results and recommendations of the TNA exercise, how to implement them, and how to provide recommendations and proper coordination with the DOT regional office. Next is the rollout of the Tourism Risk and Vulnerabilities and Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Seminar. This webinar series is meant to capacitate tourism officers, planning officers, and DRR focal persons with practical skills or practical planning skills on tourism crisis management, focusing on tourism risk vulnerabilities and disaster risk reduction and management communications plan. We will be doing this in collaboration with the UP Asian Institute of Tourism. Despite the pandemic, we also have new players in the industry who develop farm tourism sites, mountain resorts, camping sites, some bike routes, trek sites, and island hoppings have also been developed. So we're going into tour products discovery for tourism recovery. We calendared an audit of these new products with the goal of enhancing our existing tourism circuits. This will help pave the way towards EV tourism recovery. And we also have the preparation of the Eastern Visayas Strategic Tourism Marketing and Promotions Plan as being helped by the TPB. This plan will focus on providing information on current market trends, new tourism market segments, and product offerings, building back visitor confidence and identifying strategies on how to market Eastern Visayas sites in a post-pandemic world. It will also include key marketing messages aligned to those being carried by the DOT branding team and an Eastern Visayas tourism communication plan. This will serve as a guide for LGU and private stakeholder partners when they embark on their marketing and promotional activities. With hard work, determination, passion, and most importantly, prayers, we at the DOT 8 will move onward saying, yes, Visayas tourism is back and ready. Damo nga salamat, yan maupay nga kulop ha aton nga tanan.
Thank you very much, RD Karen. That was a very nice presentation. And it's nice to see you again.
Thank you.
We appreciate... At saka parang anchor woman ka sa news. Ang ganda ng set mo.
Ano yun, pang change of career?
Once again, we thank you. We appreciate the updates on Region 8, Eastern Visayas. And it looks like you're really back. And you are very busy preparing the rest of the region in the reboot, not only of LGUs, but you're also focusing on the enterprises as well. Now, you're on the road to the all-out reopening of Eastern Visayas, and we hope to see you soon. I am sure there will be questions from the group. We have, I think, over 100, nearing 150 attendees, so there will be lots of contributions later on. Yeah. So we will hear from them. Once again, thank you very much, RD Karen. Thank you. It's nice to see you. Okay, so we come to one exciting part of our program, which is the open forum. This is the portion which I call questions and more questions. This is also where we entertain ideas, recommendations, your concerns. Now, may I call back our speakers, TPB COO Tonet Velasco, TCP President Jojo Clemente, our Regional Director Shalimar Tamano, RD Karen, and SCOO Phoebe. Jay, can you take over? Yeah, okay. We'll take the cue from you, Jay. Yeah.
All right. Please open your cameras. All right. So those who have no cameras or have not opened their cameras, as much as we would like to include you, you need to open your cameras. All right. Okay. So before we start our Q&A session, you can still put in your questions. All right. So, okay, we're giving you 10 seconds before we proceed with the photo op. All right, I guess this would be it. We have 113 participants on the floor.
Okay, are we good?
Yeah,
Jay?
we're good.
Okay, I'll give you 10 seconds again for those. You need to open your cameras, everyone. Right, okay, we're now seeing 2 pages.
Okay.
All right, okay, so photo op in 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, just 1 second. Yan, di makuha yung screenshot. Ayan. There we go. Right, second page. 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay. All right. That would be it.
Thank you.
We're good. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, everyone. And ladies and gentlemen,
I'll get the floor.
I'm happy to introduce you, Mr. Peter Tate. Peter, the floor is yours.
Okay, a very great presentation by all our speakers this afternoon. And before we go to the question and answers open forums, please allow me to summarize the presentation. From our first speaker, presentation from our energetic COO of TPB, Attorney Maria Antoinette. Well, the TPB have a program of this smart tourism partnership has pathways and Safe Bangon Turismo. And they also have given the support of to the Visayas region for the RT-PCR test. So do avail the subsidized RT-PCR test to Bohol or Boracay. And the TPB is also doing the research. So it's a very good news for the tourism industry. So a reminder from our CEO, safe and fun tourism. And by our second speaker, which is from RD Region 7, RD Shah, he mentioned about the different programs for food tourism, dive tourism, and now even the motor tourism. So they are also in the pipeline of discussion for bubble travel. So another good news for the tourism industry. And as a diving instructor, and I'm actually very indeed impressed with the dive festival that held in Panlao, organized by RD and the team. So congratulations, sir. As for our third speaker, we have a presentation from Ms. Phoebe of Region 6. She talked about the Boracay program, which is the biking, food crawl, and the wellness location, which is very good. And also the Iloilo program, which is for the fun farm. dive circuit, and the food travel. And for the regional program, they also have the inter-region products and sugar trails. And last but not least, our last presenter, which is RD Miss Karina from Region 8. Ma'am, I would like to congratulate a very comprehensive presentation of the tourism situation and development plans in Region 8. And also like to say that they have also different programs such as the ecotourism, biking tourism, diving tourism, and nature tourism, just to name a few. And I'm impressed. Indeed, personally, I'm indeed looking forward to visit Region 8 in the days to come. All right. So now is the moment you have been waiting for, the question and answer open forum. So please type your question in the chat box or comments in our TCP FB page. We do have a first question from our email that I hope anyone from DOT may answer. All right. So the first question that I got here is, now every year we try to renew our government certification like FieldGaps, DOT, and other government applications, and renewals. And we notice that even other government agencies do not get transportation from us and opt to rent out from non-DOT accredited car rental companies. Now I'm not sure how this can be resolved, and it is frankly a little bit discouraging, to go through the extensive application process only to find out that we will not be given the preference anyway as DOT accredited members. So anyone from DOT may want to answer this question. It's regarding DOT accredited bus companies. This is actually a question from a bus company, and they were asking that why they have been going through all the process of applying for accreditation. Then at the end of the day, they found out that the government agency that avail the transportation services is actually non-DOT accredited. So perhaps the DOT may enlighten this situation. Thank you.
While we're waiting for Karen and Feby, may I just add, no, Sir Peter. Actually, we thank the person who sent that question because it is a common concern, not just for transport operators, but even for tour operators. No, they often contend that why do we have to go through the hassle of complying with requirements when we don't have any? There's no purposive, system by which they are in fact prioritized, and there are quote unquote fly by night operators who continue to offer programs and packages, and it seems like they're not being accosted or their attention is not being called. So the DOT regulation group, which is actually at the regional office, needs your engagement on this matter. So giving them information as to who these are, so that appropriate actions can be taken by the DOT regional office. The positive way for me, the positive way to address this is something that's being done in Region 4A by RD Mike Parispis, no? So what the DOT regional office has done there is to actually sort of limit allowed visits to the different destination sites, but all of this should be done through an operator and the accredited travel groups, no? So whether it's a bus company or a high ace or whatever, so that this way only the accredited legitimate ones will be allowed to operate. So I hope Karen and for Region 6, no, Senatin, this is something that you can also adapt, which with what's being done by Mike in Region 4A. Go ahead, Karen.
COO, sorry. Actually, I did not really hear the question clearly. So,
kaya nga ako sumalo eh.
Ma'am Karen, let me just repeat the question. It's actually the situation is a bus company they have a hard time renewing their accreditation every year.
Accreditation,
And
yes.
yeah, then after renew their accreditation, they found out that government agencies are not even getting the transportation services from them, and they actually avail the transportation services from non-accredited bus company. So, I mean, yeah, would you like to answer this question? How can this situation be prevented in the days to come?
Okay, in the case of Region 8, what we actually did, what we regularly do is provide the national line agencies with a directory of DOT accredited tourism enterprises. So that would include tour operators, tourist transport and accommodation facilities, and even tour guides, because from time to time they do have guests. And we actually elevated this to the Regional Development Council level and requested the RDC to come up with a resolution highly encouraging all government agencies, both from national and the local governments, to patronize DOT accredited tourism enterprises. So up until now, there are still agencies who call the office to ask for references on whom they will patronize or whose services they will get as far as these tourism enterprises are concerned.
RD
Thank you very
Karen,
much.
may I? Yeah.
Yes,
May
yes,
I add
yes,
lang, RD? Yeah. RD Karen, may I add? Maybe we can further advocate with the Regional Development Council so that beyond just encouraging, it can actually be part of the aspects. When we usually
yes po.
the government agencies go through
Procurement.
a procurement process.
Yes.
So
yes.
that's also another thing. You have to bid. You have to tender your bid, and hopefully you participate in that process. And yeah, we will advocate through the RDC that the specs, the term of reference of the bidding document must specify that it is a DOT accredited provider. Because if not, then they're also risking, diba? Oh, so that's one way.
Maybe we can also ask DBM to support that with that move.
Yes,
It's a very
yes,
good
by
move.
all
Yeah.
means. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mom. This is a very good answer. I hope the transportation sector can rest assured that the DOT is doing something regards to your concerns. Now we have the second question direct to Region 6. All right, it's regarding to the MICE organization for MICE. All right, so for the MICE activities, the organizer was saying that when do you think these MICE will be opened up in the days to come? Yeah.
We already have the guidelines, no, for the MICE sector for the health protocol, so they can always, continue with doing the business. It just so happened that with the rise of the COVID cases in the region, there have been lockdowns and step up in the health protocols and in the status of the cities, and so the programs or the activities for MICE are also being moved to another date, or they are being postponed. No? So, but the support of the Department of Tourism for MICE sector has always been there. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mom. Also, there's a question coming up here from Miss Michelle, and was asking that for this Pandan Antique, they were saying that can they request for tourism awareness training for the new normal?
Yes, all they need to do is contact their tourism municipal tourism office, no, and request for this training to be conducted, because usually we conduct trainings in cooperation with the local government units.
Thank you very much. Okay. Anyone has any other questions? Do mention in the chat box so that we can ask on behalf for you. Yeah.
I have a question for CEO Tonet. May nagpapatanong, baka nahihiyang magtanong. How can their area down, no? Uh, Avail or request for assistance similar to the assistance you've given to the other destinations that we have as part of their parang efforts to also rise up again for tourism. Do they send you a proposal for activities
Yes.
or okay?
Yes.
Okay.
So please just write us and send the letter request that indicates also what the program or project is and how we can be able to support. No, what I'll do is I will also ask Baby Landan of the domestic uh, promotions department because usually we are able to help. Yung iba kasi hindi marunong gumawa ng proposal, di ba? Hindi nila alam paano ipapackage yung documents.
Yeah.
So that's another assistance that we also do. We try to help. Sina Karen, ano na yan, veterano na yan gumawa ng proposal.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
So that's an area also. We can help. Wag ho kayong matakot or mahiya.
Actually, I've seen that because of you medyo very detailed now on how to do it, so it becomes easier. Parang plug and play na lang yung mangyayari as far as
we have a template actually.
Yeah, and we appreciate that. It makes it easier. Hindi na mag-iisip kung paano gagawin.
Correct.
Okay. Peter?
Actually, for myself, I have a question for Region 6. Yes. Actually, I have a question for regions for Ma'am Phoebe. Yesterday, well, congratulations for the for DOT for having the for spearheading the vaccination program in Boracay yesterday. So they were allocated 3,000 vaccines. However, I received a call from the travel and tours. They were allocated 30 vaccines. However, only 14 were only given because it was lack of
population and tourism workforce.
And then we were told that the tourism sector is not under A4. So I am a little bit confused right now regarding to the for the travel and tours in Boracay.
The tourism sector is A4, so it has already been given priority because of this was been requested by the secretary to elevate the tourism workforce to A4. That's why we have the vaccines ready given to us. So we also in talks with the Malay LGU to also prioritize the vaccination of our workforce, the tourism workforce in Boracay.
Okay, ma'am. So we have another question coming in here. Is regards to Region 7. Oh, but I think Adisha is not around. But it was saying that when do they plan to open for foreign arrivals? Oh. So anybody from Region 7 on representative for Adisha?
But Peter,
when
that's
do we plan to
a
open
question
for
that nobody
arrivals?
can answer.
Yeah. That's one of the more difficult.
Sorry, Peter.
Yeah, it's one of the more difficult questions when we're asked about it. No, parang when was it open? At this point,
I think every region is asking.
Yeah, no one can pinpoint at this time.
Every region is waiting for this to open up, the tourism to open up. So yeah, this is something very difficult to answer. Yeah.
I think, and maybe CEO Tonet and the regional directors will agree. Probably depends on how much of the frontliners and the population we can vaccinate, and it will really depend on the percentage of people that can be vaccinated. Because not for anything else, but it's more for the protection also of the populace. Even if you're fully vaccinated foreign tourists, remember they are still potential carriers, and if they come to a host destination that still has a low percentage of vaccinations, and they can still infect, and it can cause a spreader event as well. So yun. But the only thing I think we can really start pinpointing is if we a rising trend in vaccination uh, percentage of the population.
Yes.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
if I may add,
Yep.
just for the information of everybody, and so you can also prepare in case you wish to join, the DOT will actually host the 21st World Travel and Tourism Global Summit come December 7 to 9 here in Metro Manila. So that's really a test case for reopening to international visitors who will be coming here for, although that's for a MICE purpose, but it's a good practice, no, in terms of seeing the various confluence of factors that can actually pave the way to eventually reopening our borders. So of course there's the vaccination rate, and I think we understand from last year that the capacity of our health system is of course under consideration, because in case of a surge, then we don't want a situation where we will not be able to address or help those who get infected.
Sure. Okay. Next, the question is direct to Region 6. It's regarding Iloilo City is still under MECQ. So somehow the mayor is trying to open the economy. However, the hotel seems to take granted a lot of employee and colleagues. Industry are presently hungry right now, and they are requesting, is it possible to have a higher number, like 30% of allowable number? So do Region 6 have anything to say about this?
30% is allowed under the
They are requesting, yeah.
Yes. 30% is allowed under the MECQ. It depends on the size of the capacity of the accommodation facility. They have to comply with the requirements of the IATF for safety and security of our guests. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Yep, your answer is clear. So the next question is the same household rule when staying in a resort still in place? So for example, a tourist can now stay in one room even if they do not belong in one household? That means if they are from a different household, are they allowed to stay in the same room or something like that? This one is open to anybody from anybody, any speakers. Yeah. So it's regarding the same household rule when staying in a resort. Is it still in place?
Yes, it is still in place. They have to be in the same household. They cannot share a room if they are not of the same household. Yes.
Sure. There's a request for, there's an article that talk about the recovery response tourism plan. There's a request to secure a copy of it and to align with their strategy. This is from Discovery Resorts. Yeah. So
The TRRP.
where they can request for
the TRRP.
The
Yeah,
TRRP.
there's a copy.
Yes, I've already had that request. So we will be requesting for the TCP will request for the latest, the updated version of the TRRP, and we will share it with our members as soon as possible. So we'll be requesting for that, Kagan. Incidentally, the TCP is part of the group that is also helping in the formulation of the revising of the TRRP, and as well as the NTDP. Yeah.
The next question will be, sorry, next question will be for Adi Karen. This question is saying that how about in Southern, many establishments are DOT accredited, so but the LGQ still give them permit to operate the business. So what do you have to say, Adi, Chairman?
Okay. So right now, actually for the past months, we've been having difficulties in going around the region because, especially like Southern Leyte, every now and then they come up with restrictions on entries. So it is very difficult on our part to really monitor very closely on what's happening at the local end. But we would like to thank the person, the one who raised this issue, because we will immediately after this we will talk with our Southern Leyte LGU stakeholders and find out who these enterprises are that are operating without BOT accreditation, and we're also given business permits by the respective LGUs. So thank you for raising this. We really need
Thank you
as
so
much
much.
help as we can in monitoring how our tourism enterprises are operating at the local level.
Peter, if I may add to that, no. Um, when we come up with these kinds of comments or suggestions, no, talking about si ganito, they're able to do it, si ganyan, they're operating without the proper ano. I think it would also be helpful if you know something about it to please identify them. Maybe not
Yeah.
publicly like this, no, but if it's something that you can write to the respective regional directors too, that would be helpful in identifying. Like RD Karen said, there are difficulties sometimes in going around, and they need also the help of us, no? And I believe one of the mandates also of TCP is also to police our own ranks. Dapat we should also set an example as to how we keep ourselves professional, how we should conduct our business in the right way, and we should contribute to bettering the industry. So hindi naman, I don't think it's saying na yung ikaw yung nagchuchu o ikaw yung nag-squeal, no, pero it's more of helping the whole industry out kasi pag hindi naman tayo willing na magbigay ng information and we just keep on complaining about it, what can the government agencies do? So my suggestion is if you know of these things, if you know of these practices, it will also be very helpful for the DOT and whatever attached agency that will deal with it, if we can give full information para lang ma-shortcut na rin yung process of finding out who these are.
Sir Jojo, if I may add,
Yes.
the one who raised the concern is actually a friend of ours, so we will be in touch with him and ask for particulars.
Sure. Yeah.
Make it easier on our part to check.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, Ma'am Phoebe, there's another question right here. It says that in regions, it is actually the same add-on question of the region 6. You were saying that just now the 30% of is for the essential services. So what about if possible for the non-essential, can they be granted a 30% for meetings also?
It really depends on the local government unit, no? Because they're really looking into the rise of the COVID in the areas. So if they see it fit that they need to impose stricter health protocols, and we just have to abide with what the local government unit would be telling us. No? So that's how that's happened.
Thank you so
how it
much,
happens.
Ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
Then we have the next question is there a possibility for LGU to synchronize regulation to allow easy travel and inspired travel? This one is is there possibilities for us, the DOT, and to synchronize the regulation with the LGU so that to make the travel more easy? Yeah.
Actually, attempts have been made to do that, but there are really certain LGU local chief executives who insist on their ways. So we really have to exert more effort in really making representations for that to happen. And I believe that we would need the help even of the DILG to be able to do that, because the DILG has more teeth in regulating things like this. So it's been tried. For some regions, it works. But for some other regions, it doesn't work that way because there are really some LCEs who think differently from the rest.
I got you, Mom. Yes.
And it also depends on the situation in
The
their
next question.
areas.
Yeah,
Right.
a part of the difficulty of synchronizing all the travel requirements deals with the fact that there are different situations that
Mm,
are happening in the
at the
different
ground.
LGUs, no, on the ground.
True, true.
Minsan magkakatabing bayan yan, yung isang bayan mababa ang cases niya, and then the next town mataas yung cases niya. So it's really hard to come up with a uniform procedure with regard to interborder travel. Believe me, I've also been thinking of ways to address it because it's also one of the oftentimes comment or suggestion that I hear from all the other regions as well, no. Kasi nga yung iba tad na sa QR apps yung mga telepono nila. Si COO malamang ilan ang QR apps mo, COO. It's easy to think about to say to synchronize it, but in practice, it's really difficult. It's not as easy as just waving a wand na dapat ganito pare-pareho na lang tayo. I wish it was. Believe me, I constantly think about it. I discuss it with the people who may be able to do something about it. Pero mahirap eh, mahirap. But eventually, what we're hopeful for nga again, and I keep harping on it, is that it's really the vaccination that will dictate how lenient we can be with regard to interzonal travel, di ba? Tignan na lang natin yung ng DOH with the vaccine cards. The intent was good to make it more convenient for people to travel, but the reality is there are certain ways kasi that people can go around it, which can lead to very dire consequences. So, like I said earlier, it's a fine line that we're doing now to balance between the economy and health. But ako, personally, I would rather err on the side of health for now. Pag tumaas na yung vaccination rate natin, then maybe we can sort of swing the pendulum a little bit to the other side, no, towards economic side. Pero it's too early to do that. I know it's a hassle, pero if we want to improve our situation as far as COVID cases are concerned, then these are inconveniences that we have to live with for the moment. And I stress that, for the moment. Okay. Peter?
I think I think we lost Peter, and then there's
Peter. Okay.
Is there other
Is on
questions
you
from the
back?
group?
Yeah, I saw a question that asked what they can expect from DOT, from TPB, TIESA in terms of the devolved functions, services, and facilities in the coming years.
Sa Mandanas.
Speaking on behalf of TPB, as I mentioned po, we are right now in dialogue with the various leagues, the League of Cities, the League of Provinces, the League of Municipalities, because as a career official in government, my training has been to actually begin this process by listening to them and find out what exactly the needs are, so that whatever programs or policies that we have that we want to offer, these are all demand driven or need driven, and not something that the TPB would want to impose and say, okay, we want to help you by doing this. So I think it will be more effective if the way forward is something that begins by asking them precisely in what areas we can further the assistance. And as I mentioned, one of the key areas for collaboration is in the area of capacity development. So we should be able to develop programs along with the DOT Central Office, because the a group of ASEC-RICA is in charge of manpower development for the sector. So we will definitely collaborate with the DOT on this. Sa TIESA, ito yung medyo tinamaan din ng pandemya dahil yung kanilang funds, no, were all given to COVID last year. So 12 billion of them were given to the COVID response fund. And given that we have no international travels yet, and we know for a fact that the huge part of what goes into the TSO fund comes from the terminal fees, from the trip. So medyo wala. In fact, yung TSO ay nagpapaalalay sa national government asking for GAA, the General Appropriations Act, augmentation or subsidy. So mukhang in terms of funds, wala tayong nakikitang pag-asa sa TIESA next year. But TIESA has gotten the go signal to go ahead with a multilateral loan from the ADB and World Bank to fund the tourist program. And some of you, Siquijor, for Region 7, and Bohol are actually 2 of the 6 or 7 recipients of this loan amount. So, yan po. These are the concrete projects that can be supported by TIESA. On the DOT side, there's a group that's been constituted by the Secretary that is working on formulating the transition plan, the devolution transition plan. So I know that the DOT will be able to cascade this with you kung matapos po ito. No? So definitely, kami po, while tourism promotions is also devolved, but we really are moving forward in a way na we want to align with the LGUs so that kung hanggang saan sila, papasok naman kami, sasaluhin namin yung mga activities and endeavors to promote the country. No? Para mas maganda ang gamit ng pondo natin. Hindi walang duplication, makapag-complement and supplement tayo sa isa't isa. Thank you very much.
There's a comment here. It's not a question. Gary Cassis would like to share something about Cebu. It has something to do with the challenges with LGUs that we spoke about kanina pa, no? Gary says, in Cebu, it is the governor who calls the shop. So the province monitors all tourism activities. What Gary is saying is the whole of Cebu is cohesive and united towards tourism events and activities. So, Gary, you may want to add to this, Gary?
Yes. That's what all the activities on tourism activities in Cebu actually is actually through the tourism office of the province. So all the tourism officers of the towns would have to report to the tourism office of the province, and then everything is monitored from there. So there will be no mayor that says you cannot, we are closed and so on. So they have to get in touch with the province for all these things. So walang lockdown isang town or open isang town, ganun. It's all controlled by the province. So equal ang approach ng tourism. So I think I would suggest that the other region would also connect with their governors to have. It's supposed to be the governor who controls the province. So get one solid voice for all these tourism activities. Para they can open their tourism. Like for us, here I'm in Malapascua, and there's a question there, Kalangaman and Sambawan, that's in our vicinity, but we cannot go there because it's an inter-province thing, but nobody lives there. So that is up to the LGU, but the LGU says it's closed, so wala. So there's a lot of tourists also from Cebu, local tourists who wants to go to Kalangaman, but we cannot go to Kalangaman. That's all, Marisa. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. So we have 5 more minutes to go. Probably we can entertain 2 to 3 more questions before we close.
Sure, go ahead.
Joe, you have to
So,
unmute.
Yeah. Referring to that question
Peter,
that Peter was referring to, nakalagay, can standalone islands like Kalangaman, Sambawan Islands, etc. na walang mga residents or community living there be open to tourists, even if it's MDCQ, DCQ, etc. since wala namang nakatirang mga tao doon?
It's actually it's not actually a matter of whether there are communities in that area, but it's also a matter of the LGUs being able to control the number of people who go there and be able to institute properly all the health and safety measures that need to be followed. So at the end of the day, even if we at DOT says it's okay, it's still the local chief executive who has the final decision. Just like Kalangaman Island, we have been asking for quite some time now if they will be opening, but they felt unsure if they will open because sabi nga nila, sa kabilang munisipyo, may mga cases. Sa kabilang munisipyo, ganun din. Ayaw namin na pumasok yung virus sa kanilang munisipyo. So talagang sarado ang pintuan. So it's only until, I think, of the late that they open their doors to locals, meaning only for people who are from the province of Leyte.
Yeah. If I may add to what Karen said, no, Jo.
Yes,
siguro we ought, and this I often hear you say and remind, we ought to remind ourselves, we are still in the pandemic. Yes. So we have not reverted to the old normal prior to the pandemic. And even if we have in fact traveled and encouraged tourists locally to go around, the reality is new normal traveling is very different from how we traveled in the past. So last May, I was with a group of friends. We went to El Nido and Palawan, and I was happy to hear the guides said, and they didn't know I was with TPB. Sabi nung guide, alam mo ma'am, mas maganda nga yung ganito eh. Sabi ko, anong ibig mong sabihin, kuya? Kasi ma'am, bago nag-pandemic, itong lugar natin ngayon, 20 boats of tourists, nagsisiksikan kami dito. Kaya, nasisira yung corals, nasisira yung marine life. Tapos yung mga turista din hindi nag-enjoy kasi siksikan na sila. Ngayon ma'am, na ito ay minamanage, may oras ng punta, may bilang ng tao. When we got there, sabi nung guide, ma'am, maghihintay tayo a bit kasi iintayin muna nating sumampa sa boat nila yung grupong nandun bago tayo bumaba. And he said, sana ma'am, kahit wala ng COVID at pandemya, ganito na talaga ang magiging itsura ng mga biyahe natin at ng turismo. And I would like to, capture that because the way tourism and travel ought to move forward post the pandemic is something that we should really build upon what lessons we have learned in taking away from the pandemic. It cannot just be profit. It cannot just be the number of people we're able to bring to a destination. It cannot be the frequency of trips. It has to be, in the end, how do we balance the profit from the interests of the people and preserving the place in a way that we all need to partner together. And you might not like what I'm saying. Ganun naman ako eh. Kilala na ako ni na Jojo ngayon. Medyo diretsong magsalita. And maaaring hindi nyo gusto yung sinasabi ko ngayon. Kasi masakit yung totoo eh. Pero maghanda po tayo kasi ito ang totoong future of tourism na dapat nating kaharapin. And I challenge you, my dear TCP partners. I challenge you. Because TPB, for as long as I'm COO, we are willing to pay the price for this kind of future for our tourism.
Thank you, COO. Sustainability.
Thank you.
Sustainability.
Thank you,
Sustainability will really be one of the keys post-pandemic. Nakita na natin kung ano yung mga results eh. And yes, tama si COO, no? It might hurt in the long run, but I mean, it might hurt in the short run, pero makikita din natin uh, if we adapt in ways that can be sustainable, it will benefit us for the long run. And yun. Yeah. Truth is not
Well, my heart,
easy.
yeah, my heart is full,
Yeah.
Joe, because I think many of your members agree with what I said. I thought hard whether I would say that because, most people would try to please people, wanting to say
Yeah.
what they think people want to hear, but I'm not like that because I will try to do what is right
Yeah.
and what is
Sanay na
best
kami.
for us. Yeah.
Sanay na kami CEO. Kami din minsan
Ganon.
we say things that really no one wants to hear but has to be said. Pero ganun talaga
Yes.
eh. Well,
Oo.
we won't sugarcoat it just to
True.
make you feel good,
Correct.
diba?
True.
Correct.
It's
Okay.
still best to face the truth, you know.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
George, do we still have one question? We can afford to have one question or one comment, pa? More?
Parang wala
Anyone?
na.
Anyone?
I think we have a
our
good
last
question here. We have the last question, I think, and it's very timely. Why haven't the Philippines implemented one QR code?
One QR, that's right.
What do they
Bakit hindi
one
na lang-
QR code nationally nationally? Is that
Parang
what they
ganun.
mean
Parang
by it?
bakit hindi unified?
Yes,
Bakit
unified
hindi siya
QR code.
unified?
Everywhere we go, we have a different QR code.
Gusto ko sana sumagot pero wag na lang.
Sige, Jojo.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jojo,
ayoko.
kanina pa tayo nasasaktan, so i-close mo na rin para saktan kami ulit.
No, but I think that's a valid question.
It is.
Yeah. That's a valid question. That's a valid question because it is an aspirational question.
Yeah.
Even us, and I can show you screenshots of my private conversations with Sec Berna. Kasi nag-launch na kami, ginastusan na ng TPB yung travel app. Tapos, sabi ni Sec Berna, CEO, bakit mo pa tinutulungan yung mga LGU na may kanya-kanya ring visita app? Hindi ba?
Mm-hmm.
Pero sabi ko nga, when I consulted my friends who are experts in the IT industry, I'm part of the government CIO forum, yung mga chief information officers. Sabi nila sa akin, Tonet, realistically speaking, wala pa talagang bansa ang mayroong single QR code. Dahil mahirap talaga yan gawin. Lalo na sa atin, when again we reckon with the context, sikreto lang pero di ba, election next year. Alam nyo na. So, syempre, yung mga mukha nyo, gusto nun, nandyan sa QR code nyo. Yung mga card na yan, ganyan. So, what we can do is to find a way by which and the beauty of technology is that there's so many things you can do with it for as long as you know how to play with it. So, the TPB now is moving to a direction where, that's why I asked kanina, Jo, baka pwede may integration tayo. Because you can integrate, di ba? In the virtual world, everything is integratable. So, if that's a correct word to use, everything is integratable. So, it begins with the mindset and the people behind it. So, again, the groundwork is liligawan natin lahat. Sali kayo dito, di ba? And to me, what I've seen that works is that we incentivize it. Pag sumali kayo, meron kayong lollipop. Pag di kayo sumali, sorry na lang, di ba? Hindi kayo kasama dito. Ganon. Pag kasali kayo dito, meron kayong mga incentive. Pag hindi kayo sumali, di diyan kayo, di ba? So, ganun ang gagawin natin. Kasi ganun din yung that is a challenge in a democracy na there's lalo na sa atin na mag-order lang tayo ng isang direksyon ang daming tanong, hindi ba? Hindi katulad sa Singapore ngayon. Sabi nga, ang Singapore ngayon is at a stage where they are actually reframing the whole pandemic situation and response. They said, we will not even track numbers. We will no longer report how many cases there are every day. We will not contact trace. We will not test because the virus is here to stay. They have reframed the entire thing. And to me, that's easy to do because 5.7 million people in Singapore, pag sinabi ni Lee Hsien Loong, tumalon kayong lahat, tatalon silang lahat. Dito sa Pilipinas, pag sinabi natin, tumalong kayong lahat. Okay.
Bakit?
Question, anong floor? Saan? Anong oras?
Diba?
Ano po bang damit doon? Diba? Saan ang assembly? Anong dadalhin natin? Ang daming tanong. So, yun. Kaya yung sagot ko dun sa tanong, ay napakarami ding tanong. Correct. So, but that's a very good question because it is an aspirational question. And while we're not there, well, we should be able to get there. And hopefully we get there together. Thank you. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you,
Thank you.
CEO.
Thank you, CEO. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
Peter, do you have anything to say to close the open forum?
Nope. I'm okay, ma'am.
Okay. There you are, ladies and gentlemen. This has been a very good conversation with COO Tonette and the rest of the RDs, RD Shalimar, RD Karen, RD CB, and SCO PB. And maybe let this meeting be the restart of closer coordination among us, the TPB, the different regions, and the Tourism Congress of the Philippines. And I would like to remind those in the audience, if you want to renew your membership, just go straight to our secretary. They'll be very willing to receive you. Now, I would like to say that COVID-19 is very cruel, and it brought big companies, small companies down. Most of the companies are still in the ICU of, if we convert that into the medical term. But COVID also leveled the playing field for everyone. It has changed the business game, provided time for us to pause, rethink, restructure, and reassess everything. But what can we do? We cannot do anything but be strong, discover new things to do. We have to collaborate with one another. We have to explore partnerships and share information. This is the time when information is best, because we have to learn from each one. And let us work together, because we have to prepare and move forward. We can never stop. As COO said, COVID-19 is there to stay. It keeps mutating every day. We have a new virus every day. Yeah. And at this point, on behalf of the Tourism Congress of the Philippines, we would like to thank our TPB partner for making this event possible. We also would like to thank our RDs. Once again, RD Karen, RD Shah, SCO Phoebe on behalf of OIC Christine, and for the continued support for the Tourism Congress of the Philippines. Thank you very much, everyone,
Marisa,
for joining us.
Yeah.
Yes, Joe.
Marisa, just before you go,
Go ahead.
we just have one last short video to show.
Okay.
Fred, can you please, Jay, can you?
Jay, please.
Happy birthday, Miss Marisa!
Happy birthday! Happy birthday,
Okay.
Happy birthday po, Miss Marisa.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Miss Marisa.
Maraming
Actually,
salamat.
yun yung
Ito, Jojo, lagot ka sa akin.
yun yung
Thank you,
pinaka-importanting
everyone.
part ng meeting today, no?
Thank you, everyone. Thank you,
Thank
TCP,
you.
and thank you,
Happy
team, the
birthday,
secretariat.
Marisa.
Oh, Miss Marie.
I'm happy.
Thank you.
I'm happy. I was saying earlier, ano ba tong pinasok ko? I said yes to the Tourism Congress because preparation started yesterday until it has not stopped. I was with Karen and the rest of the secretariat. So I think spending it with you guys is very much worth it. It's worth my birthday celebration. And I thank you. I thank you for the videos. Thank you for celebrating it with me. Thank you very much.
Happy birthday.
So once again,
Happy birthday.
Sorry, I was
Thank
late, huh?
Maraming
Thank you,
salamat.
everyone, for joining us.
Marisa, Jojo.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you po.
Yo, thank you very much.
Thank you
RD
so much.
Karen,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Yes,
Bye.
Thank you.
Tourism Congress
RD.
has more in
Thank you
support
po.
for you. Bye-bye. Thank you very
Bye,
much,
Ma'am
everyone.
Tonette.
Thank you to all our
See you
members.
in the next
Bye,
meeting.
everybody.
Thank you. Good to see you, Karen.
God bless.
Thank you. Thank
Nandiyan
you
pa
for
ba si
having
Sir
us.
Bob Susobrado?
Hi, Ma'am
Bob,
Len.
is Bob still here?
Thank you, team, for the video. Thank you.
I think he left na.
Thank you.
Wala na ito si
Thank you.
Wala na si Bob. Yeah.
RD
He
Karen.
left.
Thank you, ma'am. Hi, Ma'am Len. Thank you. Beautiful.
Thank
Oy,
you. Keep safe.
friendship, thank you.
Hi, ma'am. Thank you so much for very nice presentation, COO.
Bye, bye, bye.
Sir Romel, kumusta?
Thank you, Sir Roman.
Salamat. Salamat.
Thank you po.
Nice seeing you, Romel.
Thank you po.
Every day, I wake up to a feast.
Thank you,
Secretary. Thank you, Ma'am Jenny. Thank you po.
Where I can
Thank
see
you,
my
Exlink.
history.
Thank you, Sir Orly.
Orly, Cherry,
Hey,
Marisa,
Charlie.
Solidoy, thank you.
Or shock my
Salamat
taste
po.
buds with something new.
Bukas, sir.
It's here I
10
learned the
a.m.,
color of
Sir Joe.
sweetness.
Huh? Yeah.
Expanded my pantry and my appetite.
Ganda ba, Ma'am Marisa? Okay ba yung...
Every next bite only leaves you hungry for more.
Jollibee, saka na lang. O, McDonald's.
Today, I woke up below the surface,
Hi, Sir Romel.
where I learned to face my fears
Si Atty. Romel na yan.
and go with the flow.
Si Orly ba? Kasi
Mari,
Jojo ang may
pag-grab ka.
kasalanan.
Ma'am, pag-grab ka. Grab food lang.
When I came to appreciate
Magpapadala ko pa sa chicken and beer.
and the small,
beer,
Korea, chicken and beer. K-pop na K-pop, grab.
Pwede.
made new friends from all over and could no longer hide my true colors that I knew I'd
Ayaw pa lumabas ng iba.
emerged a local.
Viewing pa pa. Viewing the ADP.
Hindi ko tuloy may palabas yung video ko na sumasayaw.
Pagkatapos, sir. Gusto ko makita yun.
Bawal.
Where water is stronger than rock. So I learned to sit back and enjoy the ride. Get washed up on a deserted island. Explore the locals' living history. Perhaps even find a hole in the wall. Or discover a whole new world to be on top of.
Every day, I wake up to a feast. Where I can sink my teeth into history. Or shock my taste buds with something new. It's here I learned the color of sweetness. Expanded my pantry
Out na ako ha.
and my
Hi,
appetite.
Sergio.
Marisa, happy birthday again. Chad,
Apo, see you po. Thank you po.
Orly, Jay, thank you. Salamat.
Thank you po.
See you tomorrow.
Every next bite
See you,
only
10 o'clock.
leaves you hungry for more.
Today, I woke up below the surface, where I learned to face my fears and go with the flow. But it's when I came to appreciate the big and the small. Made new friends from all over and could no longer hide my true colors that I knew I'd emerged a local.
Makalibay, no?
I woke up to worlds unknown. where water is stronger than rock. So I learned to sit back and enjoy the ride. Get washed up on a deserted island. Explore the locals' living history. Perhaps even find a hole in the wall. Or discover a whole new world to be on top of.
Every day, I wake up to a feast. Where I can sink my teeth into history. Or shock my taste buds with something new. It's here I learned the color of sweetness. Expanded my pantry and my appetite. Every next bite only leaves you hungry for more.
Today, I woke up below the surface, where I learned to face my fears and go with the flow. But it's when I came to appreciate the big and the small, made new friends from all over, and could no longer hide my true colors, that I knew I'd emerged a local.
Makalibay, no?
I woke up to worlds unknown. Where water is stronger than rock. So I learned to sit back and enjoy the ride. Get washed up on a deserted island. Explore the locals' living history. Perhaps even find a hole in the wall. Or discover a whole new world to be on top of.